Hi, I'm so glad you decided to join me inside this webinar. I'm excited to share with you these 5 shifts, which are the real keys that have helped my clients over the last couple of years really make that exponential change and easily leap into the new life, the new results that they've been looking for. So who's this for? I tend to work with high-achieving entrepreneurs who are passionate about their business. They tend to over-deliver, and they can fall into some traps very easily because they get working so hard inside their business. And some of the decisions that they make seem like wise decisions, but suck away their energy, pull away their time, and inside they're starting to feel unfulfilled, frustrated, irritated, and exhausted. In the next 45 minutes, I'm going to share with you a solution on how to regain that momentum and really recapture your time and joy. A step-by-step game plan that will move you forward. And the number one reason that entrepreneurs stall. And what you can do to make the leap. And also talk to you about why working longer and harder isn't the real solution, because it's just not sustainable. Ideally, as you gain experience in your business, you should be working less and less and having a bigger and bigger reward and a stronger impact in the world. We're going to talk about the 5 broken behaviors that will sabotage your business and your energy. The secret weapon that's inside of your brain, and the key to ensuring your business is where you live your purpose instead of it being your purpose. There's a few distinctions we're going to discover along the way. My promise to you is that we will talk through a step-by-step process to quantum leap past that wall, bring the joy and passion back to your business, find more balance, and look forward to each day again. Awareness is magic. You cannot unlearn the truth. And that's why when we're coaching and using hypnosis, clients will sometimes wonder, will I be able to sustain this? And of course, their concern is that as they leave my office, does the change go with them? And of course it does, without a doubt, because what they're doing is discovering truth and removing false limits, false beliefs, and shoring up that natural confidence and passion that is inside them. So does this sound like you? You lie awake at night knowing that you have potential that you're just not tapping into. You keep planning time for planning, and even that seems impossible. Do you still hate sales calls, even though you love serving customers and just wish, could somebody else do the sales for me? And then you could just love your business thoroughly. You want to have impact, but you're already working so hard. You're starting to wonder if you should lower your goals. And the passion that you started with is feeling forced. You're worrying that you might be burning out. Do you feel like your time is being taken over by your business, that it's seeping into your personal life so you're not even present with your loved ones? Do you secretly worry that if this keeps going like it is, you're going to just run out of energy, run out of passion, reach a point of no return, and give up? Well, here's the real problem. It isn't what you're not seeing, it's how you're seeing your business and your life. Sometimes I will share with my clients that I'm a little bit like someone who stands on a riverbank and pulls people out of the river that's sweeping them away so they can see the shifts that they need to make. So they can have perspective on their life and their business that they can't have while they're inside it, being swept down that river. There are 5 shifts we're going to talk about today that you need to make internally in order to quantum leap your success. And as you stand here with me on the riverbank looking at them, I think you'll find that they are profound. Some of them seem like common sense once you hear them. Most of those aha moments really are a profound noticing of the obvious. Once you make those shifts, all the frenetic, busy work, distractions, indecision, and noise just calms down. You really rise above it all and see from a new perspective. The path in front of you becomes clear and easy, and success actually becomes logical instead of some kind of magical thinking. It just makes sense, and you can see it with confidence. Once you make these shifts, you'll be able to focus on your priorities with clarity. If you've ever felt like you cannot gain control of your time, this one's key. And that's where real momentum comes from. You'll be back in control, more connected, and more authentic. And you'll understand your value. It's so important that you get your value so you can be able to stand in it with confidence and share it with others so that they can easily find out what you do and decide whether that's for them. Once you make the shifts, all the frustration that you've been going through until now will finally pay off. You'll feel powerful, poised, positive, and know that you can handle anything. And you'll be creating that impact with your business and have a life where you have time and energy as well to really live. Just imagine your mind and thoughts and emotions all focused on your authentic purpose, building toward impact in a way that is filled with play and fun instead of serious and struggle. The path in front of you just unfolding and resources appearing almost by magic in front of you just when they're needed. Working only with people that you're really excited to work with, those people that you know that you can achieve 100% success with. A business in which you do less, but you achieve more. Where you know your value and you stand in it with confidence, energized by your work and attracting others to that energetic vision. So who am I? I'm an introvert entrepreneur that started my first couple of businesses in a world that taught you how to be an extrovert big business person. You can imagine when I finally realized that mismatch, how freeing it was for me. Unfortunately, it wasn't until I'd gone through a really tough year, my hell year, in which I was working so hard. My entire life was about my business, and I was not getting sleep. I was living at a level of stress that was just a constant hum in my mind. When I wasn't entertaining myself or working, my brain just kept saying, I'm dying, I'm dying. I was losing my memory. I felt like I was losing my mind. At the end of that year, I was lucky to meet a psychiatrist, a coach, some mentors, did some therapy, learned some new skills, and discovered that it was my brain that was playing me. After that, I started retraining to get more coaching skills. I'm now a master NLP practitioner, a master hypnotist and hypnosis trainer, a rapid results coach. And I use a lot of hypnosis in my practice because it lets you easily and quickly achieve the results you want rather than going through that white knuckle willpower side of things. So as your mindset, your action, and your ability to build out a strategy that quantum leaps your business come into play, that's where I love to come alongside you and partner with you to help you get there with huge momentum, lots of fun, and a lot of ease. Discovering the 5 shifts. That year of burnout in which I went through so much struggle led me to the beginning of this path of discovering the 5 shifts. They should be taught in elementary school, but they're not. In fact, the only way I did to get started was when I hit the bottom. And I think that's very unfortunate because these are the tools that have helped me recapture play and joy, love and connection, and truly get a sense of self. To know who I am and be able to stand there in true authenticity on my own values and being able to forge my path in the world with happiness, energy, and joy. So these shifts that we're going to make are the ones you must make to take back ownership of your business, your time, and your energy. I'm going to walk you through all 5 of them, so this is not a teaser. We're going to go deep into each of these, as deep as we can in the 45 minutes. Shift number 1, it's not your business. Shift number 1, this is a big one. It's you. It's not a business problem or an economy problem. It's actually your brain, the hardware that you're running off. Our brains have not evolved to the point where they serve our soul. They still just operate in a way that ensures we don't become someone else's dinner. And if you were raised by parents, or if you were not, you installed a lot of invisible software. And until now, you didn't have the tools to uninstall, reprogram, and defrag that software. We can heal that with hypnosis and install new software that is authentic, matches your core values, and magnetizes you toward your vision and your purpose. That hardware can lead to anxiety, insecurity, filters, and biases. The software, those old programs, are other people's beliefs that just landed in our own brains when we were small or when we were going through something emotional. Also stuck emotions, triggered reactions, and a big un. All of us seem to come with this unworthy, unvaluable, powerless, or fraud that's installed deep inside of us. Those limits and filters are key to understanding how we create our reality. So really, your brain is working perfectly, even when it feels like you're letting yourself down. It's those invisible commitments that your unconscious mind feels are essential that are sabotaging your change. False limits and outdated rules that you installed as a child that nobody gave you the tools to discover and reprogram. Rules like, you have to work hard to be successful. You're not worthy of this bold goal. Sales is sleazy. Don't be greedy. Don't brag. Others come first. You can have fun when you retire. If it's not working, work harder. If at first you don't succeed, Take baby steps. Test the waters. Be careful. Watch out for the saber-toothed tiger. We also have some broken strategies. During our intake conversation, I listened for these, and I can get you some resources. You'll see them within my website of how to discover your own broken strategies. But I listen for all those beliefs, installed lies, and limits that hold you back. When we're aware of them, we can change them. People-pleasing. That's a big one. Especially if you were raised by parents who were either controlling or narcissistic, people-pleasing may come naturally to you. Peacekeeping, making sure that you keep the peace, that suddenly became your role in the world. Being nice. Being kind, absolutely. Being nice is a place of weakness that puts everybody else first, and not necessarily in a way that's respectful. And in fact, all three of these can lead to some disrespectful behaviors to other adults around you. Over-delivering. I think this one is something we've been taught. Anybody who's gone to a business course was over-deliver. Set up yourself to be so outside of what is expected that people will send you referrals. There's a better strategy than over-delivering that allows you to stay sane and still have a life. Over-performing. They say if you need something done, give it to a busy person. Those people are over-performers. Now, sometimes those people just really are engaged and they've made those conscious decisions, and in other cases, they just haven't set those boundaries, that they just give and they don't know when is enough. When are they enough? When are they done? So underneath the BS, as Jim Kwik says, the belief system, your authentic, brilliant, creative, passionate self, it's still in there. And I know sometimes, depending on how long you've been struggling, it feels like you'll never get it back. It's all editable, though. We can get rid of the anxiety, reduce the stress, give you those tools. Your brain is so malleable. When we do that, it feels like magic. We work with your unconscious mind to achieve you squared. You with all the garbage cleared away so that you're like a shiny new penny. Positive, powerful, poised, so your potential blooms. It's all still inside you. It's important to understand that all of our results come from our beliefs. Our beliefs create our thoughts lead to our emotional state. Our emotional state determines what behaviors we're able to do. So if you've ever felt stuck in procrastination, that emotional state of procrastination, not some amazing behaviors come from there, unless you've been taught creative procrastination, in which case your house gets incredibly clean. Those behaviors are what generate our results. So when we go back to those beliefs and we identify which of those beliefs aren't even true for you, that aren't serving you, your passion and your purpose, we can edit all of them. What's the brilliant success? Hypnosis, it allows us to create on-demand motivation, flow, confidence. It lets you easily change your habits successfully, not just in the moment, but successfully, so that you become the kind of person who does these new habits. Make decisions, get new results, and achieve your goals. Hypnosis is key because this is how we tap into your unconscious mind. So that's your number one how. Number two how is exercise your brain. Install a growth mindset so that failure isn't scary. It's part of how you build success. So that when you have a problem, you can reach out for help. so that when you want to learn something or do something new, you know that you can achieve that learning and those skills. Exercising your brain allows you to build new neurology. The practice of mindful entrepreneurship will have you sleeping peacefully at night, falling asleep like you don't have a care in the world, and waking up refreshed. Allow you to be poised in the moment, knowing that you can handle what anybody can say, and knowing that you will listen and really understand that situation. Exercising your brain is key to forcing some evolution. Realistically, our brains haven't evolved past that state of, is that a saber-toothed tiger, or am I just late getting this proposal in? So I want to share a little story with you about Jill. Jill was the child of a narcissist. Her marriage had just failed, and she was embarking on a new career that needed organization, energy, and sales. She was really struggling when she came to me. As a child, she had installed perfectionism, anxiety. She was in constant reaction mode. This was further enforced by her stressful marriage. She brought all these with her to her new home and her new position, so nothing really changed, and she was constantly anxious. What Jill needed was to take out the triggers of anxiety and fear of failure that were set off every time her phone rang, to stop running in fear and step into a vision that pulled her forward and excited her. These days, Jill rolls out of bed anticipating a beautiful day. When her phone rings, she decides if to respond and how. And that phone, rather than triggering anxiety, fills her with confidence, knowing that her success is growing. That old feeling of anxiety and I'm failing that her phone used to trigger every time has now changed into a trigger of joy and excitement and anticipation. Imagine how her day is different. Shift number 2. Thoughts and emotions are not reality. I know they're real, but they're not reality. Your problems are not your personality. If you've said to yourself, it's just the way I am, I'm an anxious person, I'm not very confident, I'm socially anxious, that talk is a thing of the past. Let it go. Becoming mindful of your thoughts and emotions, seeing your patterns and noticing the strategies that you consistently use. When we step out of that river and we look at your life and your patterns and your business, this brings them into your awareness so they stop invisibly controlling you. Your life, your patterns, your emotions, your thoughts, you can choose. Choose what emotion to feel, what thoughts to create, and what thoughts to focus on. You've heard that we need to stamp out those automatic negative thoughts. Well, you can also bring in those positive thoughts. Don't wait for confidence. Be confident. When doubt and fear crop up, investigate it with poise and curiosity. I feel like we should pause for about 5 minutes to let that sink in. This is huge. This is the difference between being able to do what you want to do and need to do in your business instantly and with confidence, and sitting back hesitating and fearful. Take over control. Thoughts and emotions are important. They're data. And in fact, motivation comes from your emotions. But when you do the subject-object shift, where you stop being subject to your life and your business, you step out and you stand on the bank of the river looking at it and being able to see it objectively, everything will change for you. Emotional intelligence starts with this self-awareness. What am I feeling specifically? When you can name it and label it, it becomes data, and you can be objective about data. You can also process that data and use it. In our society, we don't talk about emotions or manage and master them either. Our brains get filled with suppressed emotions, and the brain only lets you suppress so much before it becomes that constant low buzz of stress I talked about earlier. There are real tools that allow you to master your emotions instead of suppressing them. Then that lets you open up the map of your reality, and it opens up choice so that you can be deliberate. You'll find that hypnosis and mindfulness also make this an easy leap. When you've been doing mindfulness for 2 or 3 weeks, you naturally become much more objective about your emotions. You start to label them and recognize them. So where what you used to tell yourself was, I don't feel great, I've got a headache and my stomach's a little upset, you'll recognize that as a stress coming from emotion, and then be able to dig deeper and find that emotion so that you can process it. So let me share with you a little bit about Lori. Lori is an introvert, and she is a creative, high empathy person. She feels emotions intensely, and she can pick up on somebody else's emotion before that person even knows they're feeling it. She was a little afraid of her emotions. She would ask herself, what if I get nervous and forget what I was going to say? What if I can't focus because of worry? What if I'm too excited and people think I'm silly? She also had a couple of phobias that needed removing, and a fear of failure and lack of worth getting in the way. She was very focused on the right way, rather than discovering her own authentic genius zone. Gaining control over her emotions and stepping into her core values gave her the confidence she needed to focus on creating a business model that she would love, instead of worrying about whether it was the right model. Shift number 3. Sales is not separate from service. If you've ever said, I love my business except the sales part, this shift is for you. In fact, the biggest impact you could possibly make for you, your business, your customers, and your community is to be willing to let people know you exist. If they don't know you exist, they cannot get the results of your service or product. Let them know you exist and how you can change their world, and then invite them to purchase. Where did this get all twisted up in you? You started this business because there's a better way, people need you. When we try to untwist this, you'll see that conversational sales is a heart-based service. When you gain this skill, you can stop underselling, stop scaring your prospects away. When your prospect thinks, oh no, if this person doesn't buy, then I don't have dinner tonight, they pick up on that sense of desperation, and it creates fear and mistrust in them, even if they absolutely need you and what you're offering. Sales is a flow of value, an exchange of the value you give and the money they give back. It's a reciprocity that allows both people to benefit. It's a flow of time, money, or energy in which you both make each other's lives better. There's nothing tricksy or slimy about that, is there? It's only when you're lying to yourself that you bury this in twisted definitions. That sales conversation is the point where you step in and save the day, and that should be your intention. The intention you bring to that conversation to listen, to consult, to serve, and to help is what builds rapport. Rapport lets that other person know that you are here to serve them. It allows that connection to form so that you can get all that mistrust and worry out of the way and only give them what they need so that they know that you are coming from that good intention. That builds an incredible level of trust. And one of those incredible pieces of trust is then you can listen. It's not about giving and telling and teaching and training. It's about listening to their needs. What are the results of this going to be for them? What transformation will they get to experience? At that point, you can say, I understand where you're at, and here is what I advise. And help them. Invite them to do business with you. So you're not speaking from a place of desperation, but a place of service. That sales conversation is the point where you step in and save the day, activate your superhero powers, step into your zone of genius and serve. And in fact, that sales conversation is the biggest part of the service you give, helping them understand what you have and how they can get access to it. So what selling really is? We've maybe all heard features versus benefits. People don't buy drills. Nobody wants drills. They want holes. Really what they want is results. They want to hang the shelf or they want to hang the picture. And when we take it a step farther, what they really want is that transformation. They want to share that beautiful photo with everybody who comes into their home, and they want it to be a part of their day. So you need to get rid of that phone phobia. Set real goals. Understand your client avatar. What transformation are they seeking? When you focus on trying to sell more of your product or service, you are focused in the wrong direction. You're focused inward. And that's where all anxiety and fear comes from. When you focus outward to their needs, then you can actually understand that you are there to help. It takes the focus off you. At that point, setting up your impact goals, how many people you want to help, still comes back to money. There's nothing wrong with money. It is a beautiful place of abundance in which you can bring in value in exchange for the value you give out and have an impact on the community around you. So track and improve your ability to attract and close the people that you're excited to work with, the ones who value you, that you can easily turn into thrilled fans. That skill of going from I close 1 in 10 or 1 in 20 and doubling it so that you close 1 in 5 will have the biggest impact on your business and allow you to have more impact on more people. We spend a lot of time trying to find clients. We need to not shut down when they enter our doors. Jade had a beautiful story. Jade came from a background of telemarketing and hard selling. So he had, as a teenager, done a job of telemarketing. Many people have some door-to-door sales as well. But he had a very rigid idea of what selling was. And you can imagine it was not a very flattering one. And he had just entered a new sales role. But a new sales role in which his product is awesome. It's empowering, it's time-saving, it's caring, and it's valuable. One of the important things I shared with him is it ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. He thought he was a salesperson. So first he needed to understand the powerful value of what he is selling now. And then he needed to reframe it. What is sales and what is his role in the industry? His role was to step into the trusted advisor place. He had more to offer than just the product. He had the relationships, the connections he had with other clients, and he could share those relationships and their best practices. When he realized he was part of an important industry, it completely transformed his understanding of why he was there. That does not mean he isn't going to sell. It means he's going to sell more, faster, stronger, further, because he can understand what his ideal clients are going through, the massive value he can bring them with the product that he has, but also with the results of the product to transform the culture of the organization and their outcomes for their clients. He was also able to provide some shared best practices from other clients, and he thought it was just a sales job. No wonder that phone weighed so much in the past. Shift 4. Exponential is easier than incremental. Just because you can only see the first step doesn't mean you need to hesitate. Step forward. This is as much a personal growth project as it is a business growth project. When you realize that, it all makes sense and gets easier. Taking that first step, your light will reveal the next step. This is the number one reason entrepreneurs fail. 20% of small businesses fail in their first year. 30% fail in their second year, and 50% of small businesses fail after 5 years in business. And finally, 70% of small business owners fail in their 10th year in business. So these are businesses that are selling, that are choosing to retire. These are the failing numbers. Those that survive are not necessarily thriving, but they are surviving. So that orange line shows you what people think that business growth looks like. Just that straight line. I've taken out all the squiggles. People know there are ups and downs. But that blue line, which looks like a series of square root symbols, is what life is really like, what business growth actually looks like. That dip, you see that it goes up much like the orange line, and then there's a little dip. That dip is not failure, though it may be filled with failing and fear. It's actually a sign that it is time for exponential growth. That you've got the experience, you've got the wisdom, you've got the clientele and the reputation in the marketplace, and you need to build capacity. When you talk to a business coach or consultant, they will help you find where your bottlenecks are, what's getting in your way, and what that one powerful lever that is going to get you up that steep slope is. And then you go along again, growing through that section of your business. And then another dip, sometimes a deep dip. It depends on how long you want to stay there, right? You can sense that dip and say, I've found a wall. It is time to put a ladder against that wall instead of smash against it and trying to break my way through it. The quicker you realize that that dip, that pain, is actually a sign of success, impending success, not impending doom, the less time you had to spend in that dip. What's interesting here is there's a correlation between business growth and adult development. So that orange line is what most people think becoming an adult is. Whether that line peaks at 25 years old, 30 years old, or 40 years old, people think, I will get through my childhood, my teenagehood, and I will become an adult, and I shall just coast until I die. In reality, 65% of people actually stay at that level, that socialized mind. They're team players, they're good employees, they're great followers, they're looking for direction, they're reliant on a boss, and they're reliable. We need 65% of those people to stay there, probably, right? Or to be comfortable there during work. 35% of people get beyond that. And I think if we were looking at this stat only of entrepreneurs, we would find a much higher correlation between successful entrepreneurs and business owners and that next leap level in adulthood development. That self-authoring mind, we start becoming leaders. We are able to make decisions and be confident in our decision. We look for problems to solve, and we are independent. 1% of people get up to that level of the self-transforming mind. This might be where you decide to open out new offices, franchise, build new leaders. You stop being the leader and you become the leader of leaders. You seek out the problems and help people find them. You don't feel like it's a fire. You feel like that's work. Work is messy. It's supposed to be. As you make these leaps, you also are able to have an increasing complexity of mind. Be happy and be in a problem at the same time. Be able to be very present in the moment, but be totally focused at the same time on moving forward in an exciting, motivating direction. So there's the relationship, and you can see how obvious it is that with each leap of your business, personal development is absolutely essential. You cannot get to the next level in your business without growing in yourself. The wall is actually opportunity. It's the overlapping of those two quantum leaps of business opportunity and personal growth opportunity. Go up, not through. There's a story about how a lobster grows. So a lobster, when it grows, it just gets bigger and bigger, but its shell doesn't grow. And it finally reaches a point in which it's grown so big that the shell bursts off of it, and then the new shell can develop underneath. It can feel a little bit like that, and I'm not sure how that lobster feels about that moment just before that shell bursts off. But a lot of people, when they feel that level of pressure in their business, that's when they quit. That's the time when success is around the corner. That pressure and pain are a sign of growth, and it happens when you are ready for more. The thinking that got you here won't get you there. There's more on that subject-object shift here. Understanding to be able to step out of your business and be objective about it. It can't be your baby anymore. Your ideal piece is to work yourself out of a job, right? So that your business can run on its own. So later you may be able to sell that business so that you can empower people within your business to do the management and the leading themselves. There are a bunch of things that you can do to make that next adulthood development shift. That next level vision will harness the power to get you there. Shifting from that external validation to internal validation with an external check. Switching from dependent to independent to interdependent. Get more flexible in your language and your ability to negotiate. And it's time for that bigger why. That flexible thinking that you need lets you step out of the river, find your bigger why, and then determine your best how. From there, you may find there's a bunch of new what that you do, new services, new products, new direction. We don't want to focus on the what till we've looked at that bigger why, because otherwise we're just making those tiny incremental changes again. It's a time to stop and really have a good look at what's going on. So let me share with you Nick's story. Nick was the ultimate employee business owner. He had so much busy work inside his business. He kept trying to grow and he'd set bold goals, but he was acting like a laborer, an employee, a follower rather than a leader. Fear, imposter syndrome, lack of skills in delegation and leadership were all holding him back. But he also felt guilty when he wasn't on the job himself, like he was putting himself up and lording it over people. He was not. He was actually making his business run. But all of his day was spent working in the business instead of on the business. So what he needed to do with me was identify his genius zone, the 4% of activities that he did that led to 64% of the results in his business, and then be able to transfer authority and have a leadership mindset to empower his team to work with him. As he went through this, his changes were exponential. Very, very quickly on, he was able to hire incredible people who loved to work for him as he got this idea that he was transferring that to them. He was empowering them and spending the time, instead of working in the business, developing them and helping them grow. In fact, this energy that he brought to the business started to shine. He was able to attract 6 leads in 1 week. He'd created the time and the space in his business and in his own mind to be able to attract those new leads and to be able to recognize them when they came across his path. Shift number 5, you cannot manage time. People who try to get a hold of their time are focusing on the wrong thing, and then the time starts to own them. Where focus goes, energy flows. So if you can't manage time, it's important to understand what there is to manage. There is no fire. Work is supposed to be messy. Things are supposed to go wrong. Being aware of that and not trying to get ahead of it can help you in this step. It's priorities. You need to manage your priorities. Priorities equal the ability to achieve momentum and move forward. Authentic vision that allows you to create powerful goals is how you form those priorities, and those go into your week first. Engineering those goals into your quarter, into your weeks, and into your days, and they become the most important thing. Because the most important thing is to know what is the most important thing. And then to spend your days asking yourself, am I working on the most important thing at this moment? And that's how top achievers become so incredibly productive. It's like they warp time. They extend the moment because they decide not to react. They close the door. They turn off the phone. They get away from social. They stop doing busy work. They focus, put their head down, and get those priorities done. This requires a great deal of mindfulness and poise and the ability to delegate those jobs that you should not be doing yourself. Linda, when I met her, was trying to design the perfect day. She felt that beauty in her life and joy was going to come from the ability to design the ideal day where everything was in, and that would be the source of balance. You are an entrepreneur. There is no one perfect day. There may be four different days that have different themes and categories of life in them. For Linda, she had no flexibility. She had scheduled everything in, and she rebelled against it because she was actually a fairly carefree and creative person. So she had no time for that creativity and no time for inspiration. She wanted perfection, and that word, perfect, is a killer. Asking better, powerful questions. Who would be a source of incredible referrals on a weekly, daily, or hourly basis? What would be the highest impact priorities that would matter most to my business day? What items can I delegate or not do at all? Is this the highest possible use of my time? This took her from a checklist life to a life that was inspiring, a way of living and actually being in her life that let her achieve impact and find that joy and passion that she thought she would find in perfection. We changed that to excellence instead. So let's review. It's you. You need to manage your brain. Emotions and thoughts are not reality. You need to master your mind. Sales is service. Master conversational sales. Exponential is easier than incremental. See the logical leap. And manage your priorities, not time, so that you can master your impact. So the old way of doing business, waiting for permission, working harder, over-delivering and hoping for change, letting others own your time, letting everything else suffer, numbing out your anxiety on sugar, wine, or Netflix, losing the joy, passion, connection, and creativity, losing your impact. That's the old way. Now that you've seen these shifts, we want to go into a new way where you stop being subject to your business. Stop being subject to your thoughts and emotions. Stop rolling that boulder up a hill. Stop pretending that status quo is fine. The new way is to just shake off that old baggage. Create from your brilliant, authentic vision and embrace your bold goals. Give generously but with boundaries. Create a momentum that magnetizes others and show up with poise and know, I've got this. The new way is new results with speed. Speed in making that leap creates the momentum. Asking for help. Become interdependent. And act. Don't think about the change. Do the change. And reach out for support. Get a coach, get a mentor, get an accountability partner, or all three. You need to bridge the gap from where you are now to where you want to be, and it is a very real gap. It's that square root sign dip that we saw earlier. It is you. The emotions and thoughts are not reality. Sales is service. Exponential is easier than incremental. Manage your priorities and not your time. Stop being frustrated and getting swallowed by your business. That awareness, that realization that it's you. Discovering that you can change your brain, process and release those stuck and triggered emotions and old beliefs that limit you and hold you down. Manage your stress. Don't suppress it. Manage your strong emotions. Use them. Don't suppress them either. Discover a new neutral objectivity on your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. Design that new bold vision and set boundaries and goals so that you can focus on your priorities. Build your power team. Gather your thoughts and manage your state and live your plan through your daily life. Become the mindful entrepreneur. Poised, present, and powerful equal momentum, joy, confidence, and impact. Now you have a choice. You can choose to see differently. Think differently. Stop the struggle, step out of the river, and from the riverbank, see that quantum leap and make it with ease. Be here, live now. Don't live for the future. Don't think about living. Live. Alive and present in the now, while also going somewhere inspiring. So how I can help? I've set aside time this coming week to help you see how you can apply these shifts to start your quantum leap today. Coaching is an experience to create profound change. Whatever your biggest challenge, I've heard it, and I know how to help you overcome it. Down below, you will see that there is a form in which you can apply to get a complimentary breakthrough strategy session, where we'll actually identify what are the challenges, what are the shifts that you need to make that will put you back in gear, and we'll create a plan to get your momentum happening right away. Who's this for? You must be a high-achieving entrepreneur who's already reached a level of success. You have a big goal or a sense of untapped potential that's been eluding you. You must be 100% committed to the solution rather than looking to the past. You must be coachable, willing to play with ideas and experiment with new tools, and ideally have a little fun with it. Let's take this and make it light so that we can fill it back with energy. So why am I doing this? I didn't have it. My first business where I went through that burnout year, this is exactly what I needed. Coaching is the service that I bring. You may find that just this one call actually puts you right back on track. Or you may embrace a big goal that you would like my help achieving. If we determine that that is what would help you most efficiently and effectively and powerfully reach your goal, you may want to work with me for 6 months to a year. I would be happy to be of service to you. I'm not attached to either outcome, honestly, just your results, because coaching is service. All right, fellow entrepreneur, you watched this right to the end, so let's continue to work together. Go fill out the application form below and book your strategy call. The questions alone are going to change your focus as you fill out the application. I look forward to having a conversation that's focused on your success.